From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a big evening here on Evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. In tonight's recording, we go over that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more checks for the Democrats. Then deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people in the fourth stimulus recon. This is checks for you, checks for adults, checks for seniors, checks for all walks of life. I'll be going over all the incredible great news in this recon coverage. Then we cut to the vote. Ron Portman represented the bipartisan. The Roads and Bridges was ready for a vote yesterday, but did he deliver? His cards were called by Nancy Pelosi, but did he fold like a lawn chair? I'll have all the incredible details. As Chuck Schumer is now defaulting to Plan B. In the final 15 of the final 7, you will see breaking news you have never heard on this channel in Evenings LA. It's all happening minutes ago, and it's really elaborate, but I'll make it easy breezy. And then Richard, $22,000 for rent. Richard overnight got the largest payout ever seen on this channel for rent. He got $22,000. And at the same time, minutes later, Angela delivered the highest number we've ever seen for utilities, $5,000. John getting $10,000 to $12,000 for SNAP, Louis $18,000, and Nisi $23,000. I'll show you how to get these big sums of money that viewers are getting across the board. It's a big night, it's a big day. I'm excited for you and all the incredible details. As we go into a big night, there's so much happening and there is a lot of breaking news. It'll all be covered in tonight's broadcast, starting right now, direct from Santa Monica. Having a beautiful evening across the board, and I hope the weather is good where you are. Not to make you feel jealous, the weather is paradise here today in Santa Monica. It was hot last week, then we had some rain. It never rains in LA, and after that rain, all the mugginess went away, and today has been paradise. Jump in the live chat and tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021 tonight, a lot of breaking news. First, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and how many checks you're likely to get. Then we'll cut to the recon. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. These are not the children's checks. That's third stimulus. This is fourth stimulus. Seniors, adults, workers across the board. I have all the details about this $3.5 trillion deal. Bernie Sanders calls it one of the historic days in the U.S. government. Then we go to the vote. Ron Portman, Republican senator, said he was going to deliver the votes to get the bipartisan done. But did he? Nancy Pelosi called his bluff on Sunday. Was she right? And is Chuck Schumer ready with Plan B? And what is Plan B? I have all the details of the battleground over the vote this week. And then we cut to fifth stimulus, which raises your benefits up if you're on SSI and SSDI. Finally, the big money across the board. Rent, utilities, food, and suddenly, in the last 24 hours, record numbers reported by viewers. Richard, $22,000 for rent. Congratulations, Richard. It's just incredible. That tops even Nisi's $20,000 reported about a week earlier. Then Angela coming in at $5,000 of utilities being paid. Incredible. I'm so excited for them, and I'm going to show you how to get this big money across the board, because this is LA, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week, financial news channel America, live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto, then Sir Lloyd at 8 o'clock, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this family. The fastest growing channel of its kind, 400,000 subscribers in 1 year. Next up, 1 million. Join us in August as we expand our coverage to new shows upon the hour, on the hour. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel, pin comment. Coming up right now is the fourth stimulus battleground. And let's get into the details starting right now. House Bill, Senate proposal. House Bill is a stimulus check monthly for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. Senate approach July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House $1,000 after the first month. Senate July to December. And then the amount unknown among, there's the graphic. House $1,000 after the first month. Senate monthly unknown, but word on the street is the Senate would pay you this. Deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. 4 weeks ago, we sat back and wondered if the pandemic was actually over. And we wondered if the senators and the House members would actually give us the full number of checks. Pandemic plus 1 year? Well, then 3 weeks ago, it looked like the pandemic was clearly not over. 2 weeks ago, it looked like the pandemic wasn't over. And now, this week, it's clearly the case that the pandemic is far from over. Minutes ago, the CDC guidelines were reversed, as expected, announcing that vaccinated people should put back on their masks indoors, which was the policy announced in Los Angeles 2 weeks ago. Well, that means that the House bill would likely pay pandemic plus 1 year, which would be more than 12 checks. Obviously, that's the math, which would amount to more than $13,000 for the House. Compare that to this. And the Senate? I think you have an opinion. Jump in the live chat right now. Vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? Well, who gets that fourth stimulus check? You do. Democrats represent that. If you got a third stimulus check, you get a fourth stimulus check. Single individual, $75,000 or less, you get a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, VA, Democrats represent, you get a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income, it's not taxable. And the fourth stimulus check is the same amount for everyone across the board, including adult dependents. The fourth stimulus check, however, is not a waivable check. It is a monthly check. And I learned that lesson incorrectly last weekend. I was at Mitch's Lobster Fest and I saw Mitch McCullough from afar. I wanted to wave at him, but I didn't think that would be respectful. So I walked up to him and I said, "Hi, Mitch, how are you?" "Hello, LA. I didn't recognize you without your purple shirts." "Oh, thank you." "I wanted to come up to you and say hello to you." "Well, thank you." "I didn't want to wave at you from afar, Mitch." "No, I'm not a waivable check." To which I said to Mitch, "Well, Mitch, you're not even a monthly check. Get out of here, LA." And there you go. The second stimulus check and the third stimulus check all were written by that House Ways and Means subcommittee, but now they're giving you a fourth stimulus check. In the second part of this video, we go over the recon process and why that recon is absolutely wonderful. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to you in the fourth stimulus package. That number was confirmed last week. And this is a lot of checks for a lot of people. And I'm going to explain to you the incredible details of these $3.5 trillion of checks coming to the American people in this fourth stimulus recon. In the third part of this video, we'll go over the vote, the bills, the dates, everything you need to know, and what happened. It's a lot of breaking news, folks. I'm going to make it as easy breezy as I can because, trust me, it is complicated. It's the final 15 minutes of this video, the final 15 of the final 7. Ron Portman claimed he was ready to call the vote on the bipartisan, but was he? Nancy Pelosi called for his cards, and when he showed his cards, did Ron Portman fold like a lawn chair? Or did Nancy Pelosi call his bluff? I have all the details in the final 15 of the final 7. But first, here's a preview of the second half of this video. It's fifth stimulus and it raises your benefits up a lifetime. I'll go over all the incredible details in that part of this video. But let's get some money right now. If you got a rent from this channel, post in the live chat. If you got any utilities, post it. Snap, post it. This is what you need to know. I want you to get a pen and paper ready because I'm going to get you some rent, some utilities, some mortgage assistance, and homeowners utilities. But first, Richard. Whoa, boy. All-time record on this channel. In the last 24 hours, Richard, a California resident, reported the highest payout I've ever been able to get a viewer for rent ever on this channel. $22,000. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I'm so excited for Richard. In the same night, I got a message from Angela. The highest ever reported utilities I've ever gotten a viewer for this channel. $5,000 in utilities. Let's go over what's happening. I had reported to you in the last few weeks for rent, I could get you $5,000, 4 to 6 months of rent. Then Nisi got $20,000 for rent. Incredible, great job, Nisi. $23,000 across the board, but $20,000 for rent. Then Richard overnight, $22,000. For utilities, I was saying $300 for utilities. Then a couple of viewers started getting $3,000. But Angela overnight broke all records at $5,000 for utilities. Then for Snap, I said $6,000 viewers were getting for Snap from this channel. And then John blew it out of the water. Congratulations, John. $10,000 to $12,000. And then just a blink of an eye, just a day later, Louis came around, $18,000 for Snap. What's going on? This is what this channel does. This is not a check tracking channel. This is a check cashing channel. In April of last year, the EIDL loans and grants were not coming. They were promised to you. You're supposed to get them in 3 days. Did not come. Did not come for 3 weeks, 3 months. But I cashed checks, $25 million of them I got for viewers. Then involved 2020. The second stimulus check was not coming, so I got checks to cash. $250,000 of rent. Like Tyrone, his family of 4 out of Boston, got $15,000 from this channel in December, paid all his rent to the next year. But now, the difference is you. You are getting bigger numbers than we've ever seen in this channel because you're using the videos and learning from them and getting massive sums of money. In the case of Richard, he tells me he was watching these videos all from January up to March. He knew that I was talking about different places to apply. He listened and he understood that locally California doesn't often have a lot of money, but that the state does. And when the state announced it, he pounced, hawk, hawk, as a purple hawk, and he got this massive sum of money. And then the program was gone. Remember, I told you, Purple Hawks, you got to pounce right away. So get that pen and paper ready. Let's go over all this big money because I want you to get the money as well. You're going to reach out to different places of different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Also, use the keywords. Viewers tell me the keywords really help them. All right, here you go. You're going to reach out to your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, your state hall, your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words that they don't know, like stimulus or Mitch's popularity fan club, neither of which they know. And there you go. Congratulations to Richard. Congratulations to Tim and Linda who got this wonderful pot of money. If you got a rent, post in the live chat, and congratulations to Nisi as well. The next pot of the money is the SNAP. Oh, also congratulations to Angela for her utilities. SNAP. Lynn Glenn got SNAP. Gail got it as well. Lynn got it for her son, her mom, and herself. But John got $10,000 to $12,000. Oh my goodness, John. Congratulations. Louis, $18,000. What is SNAP? SNAP is money for food. It comes from the Department of Agriculture, DOA. Go get it. Eligibility is easier than a stimulus check. And it pays a fortune. A family of 4 out of Hawaii gets upwards of $16,000 a year now. Wow, why so much money? Because of 2 wonderful executive orders. One from Biden, one from Trump that raised your benefits up 15% between now and December. So go get it. We're killing it. You're killing it. Louis, $18,000 for SNAP. Richard, $22,000 for rent. Angela, $5,000 for utilities. And we are only 12 minutes this video. I got more money for you starting right now. It's the money coming back from your states due to overpayment of unemployment benefits and a computer error. Where's it landing? Direct deposit. Can you track it? Yeah, call up your state and say, hey, state, where's that check due to computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And the last part of the money is the refund check from IRS. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it, and boy, it's still coming. In fact, a viewer on Mornings LA said she called up IRS and got some information about the routing times. So that was very useful information. But IRS issued a statement just a few days ago. It said the latest wave, they're waivable checks. Latest wave, the payout average is $1,265. One viewer on Afternoons LA said they got their check back. It was almost over $2,000. Congratulations. Direct deposit started on July 14th, and paper checks started July 16th, a new wave every week. Now, if you've not posted your success stories in the live chat, rent, utilities, SNAP, internet, mortgage, homeowners, utilities, post it right now. Because when you do, you're helping viewers. This channel is all about viewers helping viewers. First, when you post your success story, other people get the money. It inspires other people to get it. So if there's 2,000 people in the live chat and 100 people say, I got this and that, it inspires other people to get it. Number 2, it inspires someone who got 1 item to get the other items, like Art Sullivan. He got 3 items. Nisi, who got 3 items. A lot of viewers get 2, 3 items. You're very inspirational to others because then they realize, wait, I only got utilities. Let me go get some rent. Then finally, it updates us about the numbers. $5,000 for rent is suddenly $22,000 for rent. $5,000 for SNAP is suddenly $18,000 for SNAP. It really updates us across the board. Let's go over this refund check from IRS. Let's say you had $9,000 of total unemployment benefits. You paid $5,000, of which $4,000 was your taxes and unemployment benefits. Congratulations, getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. Can you track it? Yeah, go to irs.gov and do a transcript search. It'll reveal the tax return you filed and the taxes you paid. But it'll also reveal stuff you never knew. Stuff that you wish you never saw. It'll reveal when Mitch was on Star Search and he sung that ballad tribute to Chuck. Was the song "A Slave to You" by Britney? And can we top that? We can, as we go into the second part of your four stimulus check battleground. And also that IRS tool, transcript tool, will reveal the refund check too that's coming to you 70% of the time. Here we go. The second part of your four stimulus check battleground starting right now. Deal done. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. Congratulations. It's a lot of money. It's a fortune. As Bernie Sanders says, it's a historic day for the American people. It's for you. It's not for children only, like third stimulus. This is for everyone, like seniors, like workers. A fortune of checks. $3.5 trillion of it. The Democrats agreed upon the price tag and agreed they're passing it. So this is huge. All they got to do is call the vote. Now, how did they get to the spot? Well, originally before July 4th, the recon included roads and bridges, and it was too big. And when asked among Democrats, especially the problematic Democrats, they said, I won't do it with roads and bridges. Take it out of there. That shrunk the recon, and they put the roads and bridges into the bipartisan and made it passable, the recon. The confirmation comes from a conservative publication just a few days ago. It says much the same of what I've reported. The higher the price tag was on the recon before, the harder it was to pass. There's a confirmation. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending from the recon and put it into the roads and put it into the bipartisan roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. There you go, confirmation. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon easier to pass. Sorry, Mitch. Sorry to set you up. Now, normally in this part of this video, I would say, well, the Republicans love the bipartisan. They are calling for a vote. They say it's ready for a vote. But there's a particular one person who said, no, it is a setup and made a few calls on Sunday. Who is that person? That's coming up later in this video. But when they shrunk that recon, the progressives and the Democrats, then they were able to add a little bit more back in. And what did they bring it to? $3.5 trillion. The big, bold, beautiful number that they wanted, and they are celebratory about this number. This is what they were saying before, and this is what they have now. Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat out of Minnesota, progressive, said, we got to have a recon that goes as far as we want it. You got it, Elon. $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. Then Representative Richie Torres said, we have to have a larger recon. You got it, Richie. $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. And the Progressive Caucus was meeting daily with the White House to ensure the recon was big enough. You got it. $3.5 trillion. How did they do this? Well, the president told the progressives especially to protect the recon because everything that's in the recon is checks, and checks for you, all progressive checks. And Brian Schatz, Democrat of Hawaii, progressive, and Jalapal, Democrat of Washington, both progressive, were told to watch it. Quote, the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon their own priorities. Well, how did we get to this wonderful spot? Let's go over what a recon is. How they vote it, how they vote it, how they write it, how they vote on it, how it gets finished, and when do we see it? Everything you need to know across the board. But let's first start with the words. On this channel, you hear me only say two words. I say recon, and I say bipartisan. But unfortunately, if you turn into broadcast media, they use other terms. And if you were like myself, I turned into broadcast media this morning, and they combined both of them together and used the same word. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The broadcast media coverage, I got to give almost a C+ at this point. They're just really confusing the two items together like they're the same one and the same. They're not. So let's separate them out. Remember, our stuff is the recon, not our stuff is the bipartisan. That's roads and bridges. Remember, roads and bridges is bipartisan. Our stuff is recon. That's easy. I mean, that's easy because I covered it on the channel. What makes this then a little bit more elaborate is broadcast media and the president use other words. So let's go over those words so you know what they are, and then you'll be educated. First, recon is also called reconciliation. That's easy. It's also called budget bill. Okay. You recognize it by the price tag, $3.5 trillion. You remember that number. And then the people quoted in the article about would be like a Bernie Sanders. Okay, that's pretty easy to follow. Bipartisan, also called roads and bridges. You got that. And then infrastructure. Not difficult. That's easy. People will be quoted in the bipartisan article would be a Mitt Romney, Kristen Sinema, Ron Portman. Price tag is $1.5 trillion. Smaller. That's easy. Okay, so that's pretty simple when you explain. So who writes the recon? When does it get debuted? All the details starting right now. First, the recon is written by Democrats for Democrats to be passed by Democrats. But the people who actually write it are House subcommittee members. And under the Constitution, different subcommittees have different subject matters. The lead authors are the House subcommittees with the Senate subcommittees helping them. For example, House Ways and Means Committee is responsible for writing about stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. When each of those subcommittees are done, they get their pages together and send them up to Chuck. So let's say we have 10 subcommittees and 10 pages. Then that's 100 pages, send it up to Chuck. He puts a big S on it for sassy, salty, Schumer, seductive. No, for Senate. There you go. And that is then the recon. Until we have the recon, we don't have the recon. It's just sort of obvious. We have an emoji for that, not bill yet. Until we have the bill, we don't have the bill yet. And that's what broadcast media and myself are both saying. It's sort of like a pop singer who has an upcoming album, doesn't want to show you or let you hear the songs on the album until the album's released. Not difficult. Here, the Democrats are not showing us the recon until it's released. So, if you do hear someone someone somewhere posting or saying something like, I haven't heard of this the reason you have heard it is it hasn't been released. Until that time, there's no constitutional requirement that they show you what's being written. They have to show you what they're writing, what they're including, taking out, voting, or voting against. Later in this video, I'm going to go over two important things you need to know about this. One, which is when that bill is debuted, it's not a finality. They modify it in the House and Senate. Number two, you're also going to learn later in this video that these subcommittee members are not hundreds of people. It's just a few people. And that ultimately, other House members, other senators want their bite of the apple and make changes. That's good for you. It's coming up later in this video. But first, this letter, which is also coming up later in this video. Jalopal recently wrote a Schumer letter saying, call the vote, Chuck, on the recon. Well, guess what? He is. That's coming up later in this video. And that letter was signed by 12 House Democrats who are among 100 plus who had written the president a letter saying, call the vote. And we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Whoa, that's wonderful. Can we top that? We can. As 7 members of that House subcommittee, House Ways and Means, the one you just went over? Yeah, that one. Recently wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly fourth stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus recon. Oh my goodness, that's exactly what we want. We got to keep them, Purple Power, to their promise. We have to push Purple Power and ensure these people keep their promise. They also say they're giving you a fifth stimulus check. Whoa. Can we top that? Yes. Biden did it. The global minimum corporate tax rate minimum is now international rule. And that international rule was signed into law just a few days ago. The president went overseas 5 weeks ago for a ceremonial signature, but the actual international agreement was signed back in the States just a few days ago. This is huge for fourth stimulus for the easy, simple, breezy reason of this thing is complicated. You don't want it in the recon. So first, it's easy to call the vote. It's easy to write the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. It's easy to call the vote on the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. It's easy to vote on the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. And it's easy to pass the recon because this confusing thing ain't in there. And can we top that? We can. The final 15 of the final 7 minutes of this video, the final 15 minutes of the final 7 days of this video will go over so much breaking news from today that it will be overwhelming. I'm going to try to make it simple and breezy, easy breezy for you. I've seen some of your comments and I think you're following, so that's good. It's a lot of information. It's a lot of twists and turns, and I'm going to show you how this is evolving very, very quickly. I told you things ramp up very quickly at the end. It is. It's coming up in the final 15, the final 7. Also, fifth stimulus. But first, if you need help with rent, utilities, mortgages, and utilities, and you've not tried to find it yourself, make sure you try yourself first. Because ultimately, the big success stories often are like a Nisi, like a Richard, who did it themselves and got these big monies, like Tyrone last year. But if you've tried and you can't get it, don't worry. I got your back. The volunteers got your back. They're viewers just like you. They're salt of the earth. They embody the Purple Power spirit. Viewers helping and caring for others. And how do you find them? Open the description of this video. Go down in the description and you'll see a link to the community page. It's news.la.com/community. It sends you over to the community page. There are the volunteers separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them and they'll help you get that big money for rent, for utilities, SNAP, and internet. Here's a little bit about them. I'll be back in 60 seconds with you with the final 15 of the final 7 in this big breaking news broadcast of Evenings LA. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals. Reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LA, direct from Santa Monica, with the final 15 of the final 7. In these final 15 minutes, we go over these critical next 7 days as the battle for the vote starts. And I have all the breaking news in tonight's broadcast. Then we cut to Fistimals as well. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you to subscribe and be part of this family. Thank you for yesterday for our biggest day of subscriber growth in several weeks. Also, like the video. Never forget to like the video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps because it helps the video appear higher in the rankings. It also delivers a side of garlic. And consider becoming a member. The link's at the top of the channel and pinned comment. Fifth stimulus is what the president promised during the campaign trail. He did not deliver it. And since becoming president, he said he was going to do it during the transition papers. He still did not do it. So now the senators and the House members have stepped up and they are promising it as the SSI reform of fifth stimulus. This is his fall. This would be September. It would start legislating in September. It would go to a vote about October, November. It would be done in November. And then they'd apply the benchmark in December. How does this work? First, they'd raise your benefit limits up, remove the asset limit, add an inflationary benchmark, remove the marriage penalty, and remove the income exclusion. Who does this apply for? First, it applies for you. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, multiple beneficiaries, casino benefits. All of your benefits will be raised up one big time. Next, they apply a new benchmark. That benchmark will be applied in December. What is the new benchmark? Inflation. Where is it going? It's becoming transitory. What does transitory mean? That's what Jay Powell, head of the Federal Reserve, testified on Capitol Hill last week, saying inflation is going to be transitory. It's a fancy word to mean it's going to temporarily reach a peak, a spike. When? December. Yes, right when they apply your benchmark. Because once they apply your benchmark, your benefits never step down. How high is this inflation rate going to be? Wall Street last week and said my number, 5%. And today the new housing starts number came out. It was really strong. So there's a lot of really strong numbers out there signaling there really is going to be somewhere around 5% for that spike. Let's go over all the analysis. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Then they'll apply the benchmark. If it's 5%, then your benefits will step up 5%. Not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So if the inflation rate is 2%, the year after that, you'll be plus 2, plus 5%. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law that says you can't work that you can't have more than $3,000 in hand. You'll have room to have some muddled. There's nothing muddled about this. Sorry. You'll have some room for some Casey Royals. Did someone say Casey? Sorry, Canute. This is not the Casey. You'll have some room for some blue Crayola crowns in your hand. And, and also some stimulus checks. They're going to move the income cap dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And the marriage penalty is going to go away, and you'll do a pair dance. You'll do a pair dance because love is going to win. You will no longer be suffering from the marriage penalty. The marriage penalty will be gone. Viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer suffer for loss of benefits. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. Yeah, those House Ways and Means subcommittee members also represent. They're giving you a fifth stimulus check next year. It would not overlap with fourth stimulus. Boy. Meantime, if you're on the live chat and you notice people who have an emoji of a purple hawk next to their name, what's going on? They're members. Join. You need to join. The link is under the video where it says join here. It's also in the chat and in the description. By becoming a member, you're getting access to all the information under third stimulus delivered daily from me to you via the YouTube community page that is available under third stimulus. There's a lot of money to get. When second stimulus became law, it was a $600 stimulus check, but I said, I'm going to get you $6,000. I got Tyrone $14,000, $15,000. When third stimulus passed, it was a $14 stimulus check. I said, I'm going to get you $14,000. I got Richard $22,000. I got Louis $18,000. I got Nisi $23,000. Consider becoming a member because you learned from me via the YouTube page all these information of this money that's available for you under the stimulus packages for you to get. Remember, become a purple hawk, and pounce and get that money before anyone else. All right, with that, perfect timing to go into the final 15 of the final 7 starting right now. With no less than potentially 7 days to get this done still, we're going to go over all these incredible details in this final 15 minutes. It's going to be jam-packed, a lot of breaking news. It's going to be elaborate. I'm going to try to make it as easy breezy for you because it is complicated. Number 1, your money. Recon, done, deal. $3.5 trillion of checks are coming to the American people. Bernie Sanders heralded this as a major historic day for the American people. First, they agreed upon the price tag and they agreed they're passing it, says Senator Tim Kaine. This is huge because he says they basically just slot the price tags into the provisions. Number 2, the number is enormous. Bernie Sanders went into the meeting asking for $7 trillion, sliced in half, saying, I got all the money, exactly the price I want for my programs, just a shorter period of time, maybe half the amount of time. He said this is an enormous payout and all the money that he's been looking to give you for many, many years. This is wonderful news. To which, what are the provisions? Well, I have some of them. Remember, we don't have the bill yet, not bill yet, but I have some of the proposed provisions of this $3.5 trillion. Checks for seniors, checks for workers, and checks for a lot of people else. Here we go. Checks for free school meals, checks for tax breaks, checks for cheaper prescription medication, checks for immigration reforms, checks for greener farming, checks for elections, checks to close the digital divide. They're going to give money to local cities so that they can run their own internet companies, checks for cleaner energy, and here come my checks for workers and seniors. First, checks for workers, independent contractors, collective bargaining agreements, unions, and then checks for seniors, Medicare expansion, lowering eligibility age, dental checks, vision checks, hearing care checks as well. Well, wonderful news. All right, let's cut over to the bipartisan, the roads and bridges. Mitt Romney, Senator, Republican, 2 weeks ago, said that he thought the vote for the roads and bridges would be done last week, if not this week. 2 weeks ago, I said, not going to happen last week. Maybe this week. And Main Street Bean agreed with me. Well, what happened? Well, last week, at the end of the week, Chuck Schumer, Democrat, head of the Senate, called a vote to end discussion for the bipartisan roads and bridges. I said it was going to fail the vote, but I said it was going to work by getting people to move. It worked because while the vote failed, it got people to move. The immediate movement was within minutes. The Senator, Republican, Ron Portman, delivered a letter to Chuck Schumer saying, I have 12 Republicans ready to sign and vote and approve the bipartisan roads and bridges. Whoa, this is great news. You know why this is great news? Because if the infrastructure, the roads and bridges is ready for a vote, then our money is ready for a vote. Let's back up. If you've seen the videos of the last month, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, the president, John Paul, everyone confirms, though recon, our money goes for a vote before the bipartisan. It has to. Again, our money, the recon, goes for a vote before the bipartisan. But if the bipartisan is ready, then our recon is ready to go for a vote before that. About a month ago, when asked about the situation, Democrats had some fringe Democrats who said, problematic Democrats who said, well, I won't vote in favor of the recon if the bipartisan is not ready, the roads and bridges. Ron Portman represents the roads and bridges is ready. Whoa, so that means we can have a vote on our money as well this week. But let me analyze this personally. So I have Ron Portman on one side, Republican senator, and then I have Mitt Romney on the other side, also Republican senator. I've detailed both individuals over the last year, but I have very different opinions about the two different people. First, Mitt Romney, always delivered on time, always delivered on details, always wrote quickly, always what he says happens, and when something is not going right, he fixes it very quickly. That's Mitt Romney. Do I have a lot of faith in him? Absolutely. Ron Portman. Ron Portman leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Why? Because he's the guy from May of last year. When you were losing your home, your business, your car, everything because of the pandemic, he said, get back to work. You're lazy. I'm cutting off your unemployment benefits. That's Ron Portman. So when weighing the two people, who do I put more faith in? Obviously, Mitt Romney. So that was where we were about Thursday last week. On Friday, After Ron Portman delivered the letter saying, I got 11 senators, Republicans, ready to vote and pass this on this coming Monday, uh, Chuck Schumer wasn't so much believing in the situation among the Republicans. So Chuck Schumer called a vote. More about that in a second. What happened? Well, a series of publications all said that by Friday, Democrats had a sentiment of the situation. What was the sentiment? They thought that Ron Portman's trying to run out the clock on the Democrats. Over the last 15 years, Democrats believe that the Republicans have run out the clock on them several times. What does running out the clock mean? Then in the case of bipartisan negotiations, you try to negotiate, and then suddenly 10 seconds, 9, 6, 2, 1, bing, you're out of time. And then suddenly you're left with nothing as a Democrat. And the Democrats believe the Republicans have done this to them many times over the last 15 years. They don't want this to be another occurrence. So a lot of publications all report that sentiment among Democratic senators as of last Friday. Well, one publication indicated what they thought was the plan B. Other publications said very different plan Bs. This is the publication I have true faith and belief in. The publication said that Chuck Schumer called a vote on Friday, and actually called a meeting on Friday among Senate Democrats and said, this is the situation. It may be possible that Ron Portman is running out the clock on us because he claims the vote is ready for the bipartisan, the roads and bridges this coming Monday. Maybe he's not being accurate. Maybe he's trying to run out the clock on us. What should we do? Well, Chuck Schumer proposed a solution, and every Democrat in the meeting, including even reportedly the problematic Democrats, you know which one they are, agreed to it. What was the Plan B agreement? The Plan B agreement last Friday was, if the Republicans do not have the bipartisan roads and bridges ready for a vote, we Democrats will call the vote on the recon ASAP, even if the bipartisan is not ready. Yes, this is huge news. Why? Because this is certainly not their position about a month ago. Remember, earlier in this video, I said to you, about a month ago, some Democrats said, I'm not calling the vote on the recon, our money. If the bipartisan, the roads and bridges is not ready, they got to have the bipartisan roads and bridges ready. Well, Chuck had that meeting on Friday, and apparently even those problematic senators said, no, I think I'm being set up by Ron Portman. I think he's trying to run out the clock. I can't be left with nothing. I've worked too hard on this. And so that reportedly was the Plan B agreement on Friday. On Sunday, Ron Portman and Nancy Pelosi appeared on the same broadcast channel, on the same show, not in the same room, not at the same time, just minutes apart from each other. Ron Portman doubled down, saying that he's ready for the vote on the bipartisan roads and bridges this last Monday. Nancy Pelosi said, well, you're not going first. The recon's going first, but I also am calling your bluff. I don't think you're ready, and I don't think you have the Republican support. On Sunday, there was reports of a certain person calling the Republicans saying, call off the bipartisan roads and bridges. Don't do it. You're getting set up by the Democrats so that they can pass their recon. Who reportedly made that phone call? Reportedly former President Donald Trump. So that we don't know if it did. In fact, the articles that cite that report don't even know if it was taken, if it was effective, that phone call or not. They just know the phone call was made. So what happened on Monday after Ron Portman doubled down and said he's ready for the vote on Monday? Nancy Pelosi called his cards, and Ron Portman folded like a lawn chair. He did not deliver the votes on Monday. He did not have the Republicans ready to vote in favor of the bipartisan roads and bridges on Monday. So there you go. Nancy was right. Ron Portman was not ready. So with that, then the Plan B is likely to take impact. Now, late today, Kristen Sinema, Democrats, certainly did meet with the White House. And there was a lot of strange sort of meandering of articles in the last hour, 15 minutes before this video. Kristen Sinema met here, and then the president said that, and it's just sort of all over this place. But let me recap where we are, and let's go over the vote and the dates and the bill. First, the bill. When you do see that recon on the Senate side with that big S on it, not for Schumer, for Senate, that is not the finality. While it's written by Democrats and is debuting on a Democratic Senate floor, Senate Democrats will modify it and House Democrats will modify it. Why? Because they're not in the subcommittee. There's only a few people in the subcommittee of the House. The House members have already said, I don't care what's in the bill. I'm going to modify it. I'm here to legislate, and I will have a bite of the apple, and I'm not a cheap date. That's actually their words. This is great news for us. Why? because when the reconciliation bill is debuted, it may be perfect or it may be imperfect. And ultimately, if it's imperfect, it needs to get modified. And there's a lot of opportunities to modify it, and Democrats have already indicated they're modifying it. First up, Senate floor, then to the House, then to a 2-day vote-a-rama at the Senate. They can modify it, and they've indicated they're going to modify it. Number two, it doesn't take a lot of days to do this. It actually is very quick. Number three, let's recap everything where we are right now, because I know this is a lot of information in such a short period of time. First, we have the recon, our money, $3.5 trillion of checks to the American people, an agreement on the price tag, an agreement to pass it. Number two, we have the roads and bridges, the bipartisan, which a month ago, certain Democrats said, I'm not voting for the recon, our money, unless the roads and bridges is ready. It's not ready, we now see from Ron Portman. His assurances were not true. He is not delivering the Republican votes ready to vote on the bipartisan. So, Plan B from Schumer reportedly has Democrats on board, senators, to call the vote on the recon, even if the roads and bridges is not ready. Then, when we see the bill on the Senate side, it's not a finality. It's not a law yet. We have an emoji for that. That bill, Senate reconciliation, recon, will get modified. In fact, House members who are Democrats say they're modifying it. That's good news for us, because if it's imperfect, it will be modified. First stop Senate, then back to the House, then to this 2-day Senate vote-a-rama, and off to the president. A lot of details across the board. Ultimately, I'm going to stay on top of the story. As the news cycle gets really tight in these last 7 days, you're going to see things change by the minute. Literally change by the minute. Chuck Schumer is telling people to stay in town over the weekend, so there's going to be a lot of news cycles of things happening even on the weekend. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video. 2,000-3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto, and then Sirloin at 8 o'clock. Stay with this channel in August as the programming schedule expands. So many details, and join me tomorrow morning, early morning to LA with the latest updates as well. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful evening across the board. I'll see you next on Overnight's Crypto, starting right now.